Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi here to help me out with that. Hopefully she's not glitching like our equipment was there. Pam, Democrats like Alan Dershowitz have sounded the alarm over the growing virulent strain of Jew haters in the Democrat Party. It appears their agents in the unfair press are carrying that water. It is dangerous, is it not?
Yeah, it's very dangerous, Chris. It's extremely dangerous. And, you know, you look around, the thing that's really the most troubling to me, these students in universities in our country, whether they're here as Americans or if they're here on student visas, and they're out there saying, I support Hamas. You and I have seen that on all of these television shows. Frankly, they need to be taken out of our country, or the FBI needs to be interviewing them right away when they're saying, I support Hamas, I am Hamas. That's not saying I support all these poor Palestinians who are trapped in Gaza. That's not what they're saying. So I think their student visas need to be revoked. I think we need to reinstate President Trump's travel ban immediately. There's a lot of things that can be done to stop this. But yeah, the anti-Semitism that is rampant throughout this country now. And it's truly, truly heartbreaking to see what's happening to all of our Jewish friends in this country by really just, I think, a lot of ignorant kids and students and people who don't understand that Hamas equals terrorism, even worse, at its worst.
Well, I got to say that the sheer size and scope of these so-called protests against Israel and support for Hamas, I think have taken a lot of Americans by surprise, wondering, gee, whose idea was it to allow all of these people who are so antithetical to Western civilization into our country to undermine it? Let's get into the latest revelations from the Biden crime family. The Oversight Committee exposing a $200,000 payment from James Biden. That's the younger brother to Joe. Congressman Comer says this payment is money that Biden received to help influence policy in the Middle East. Joe Biden infamously asking, hey, where's the money? Do you think he might regret asking that question, Ms. Bondi?
You know, it's never going to stop, is it, Chris? This is just, I think, the cherry on the top right now. There's been so much of this. And what has President Biden said? I never took money from my family members. So we're seeing that in many different ways play out. And then there was the beach house. You know, Hunter helps him pay for a beach house. They have this money, and he and his brother, James Biden, marks it down as a loan repayment. Come on, when is Joe Biden going to loan his brother $200,000? And on the same day that James Biden gets a $200,000 wire from a now defunct bankrupt corporation, he writes a check to Joe Biden. I mean, when's it going to stop? Well, I can answer that. When Congress gets its act together, which James Comer is trying to do, and continues to investigate them. But it's trickling out little by little, isn't it? And it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep building more and more.
Right. You know what? And even CNN had to admit, Pam, that Joe Biden's claim during the debate on a couple of occasions with President Trump that Hunter Biden took no money from communist China, took no money whatsoever and was not enriched. That was not true, said Joe Biden. Even CNN had to admit President Trump was right.
Absolutely, that's right. And look at the world in which we're living now. Look what you just said. Hunter Biden took money from communist China. I mean, that's what's so frightening about this. I mean, he was doing business in Ukraine with oligarchs. We know that on the board of Burisma. I mean, the things that Hunter Biden had his hands in, and what about the emails talking about the big guy, at the time Vice President Biden, calling him the big guy involved in all of this? So Congress, Senate, they all have to get to the bottom of this and find out what's going on. And I would think the Democrats would be equally responsive in this. They really should be, now that all this is coming out.
And by the way, folks, for all of you folks at MSNBS who were saying, oh, that's just a lie, Hunter Biden admitted it under oath in court. Last thing, Pam, evidence on Biden's bribery scheme is continuing to mount, and the GOP remains at odds, and you mentioned this earlier, with each other. There are now 10 new candidates, 9 who can keep track anymore for the speaker's gavel. The GOP suffers from an identity crisis. That's what I say. What do you say?
Yeah, you know, they do. And right when this happened, you know, you don't do something without having a plan to back it up, Chris. And that's what happened here. And the Democrats and a handful of Republicans, of course, voted Kevin McCarthy out. And now look where we are. On the heels of that, what happens? We're about to be at war, possibly. And we've got to get a speaker. A lot of good men, I think all men in this race. But I personally know Byron Donalds very well. He's from Florida. He is a great guy. He was in the Florida House. I was Attorney General. I know he does everything for the right reasons, and I know he's a consensus maker. He gets along with everybody. So do a lot of these other gentlemen, but they've got to come together because there's no way they're going to get the votes, and our enemies and our allies alike are watching what's happening in our country right now. So they need to lock themselves in that room and figure out who's going to be the next Speaker of the House and stick to it.
Yeah, and they've got to figure out what it is they all support. What it is, I mean, the Democrats said they have a whole laundry list of stuff they're all unified to support. The Republicans can't come up with one issue that they can lock arms and say we are universally for this. Pam Bondi, thank you very much. Appreciate the visit.